What's up, everyone? By this time, we were supposed to be 3 weeks removed from the 2020 NBA draft. But unfortunately, with everything that's happened with the pandemic, the NBA draft got pushed back to October 16th. So in this video, we're going to do a mock draft. But this mock draft will only cover the lottery picks. If this video performs well, we'll do a mock draft on the rest of the first round. So make sure to comment and like the video if you want me to continue this series. Also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe as your support is much appreciated. Now let's go ahead and get started. As of now, we still don't know where the picks will land. We'll have to wait for the draft lottery, which is set to happen on August 20th. So this mock draft is going to be based on the current order of the NBA standings. With the first pick of the NBA draft, the Warriors will select James Wiseman. This pick makes a lot of sense for the Warriors as they are strong at every position but center. Now, most big boards, Anthony Edwards and Lamelo Ball are ranked higher, but if the Warriors draft them, they're going to end up coming off the bench. The Warriors want to compete for a title next year, so they're going to favor fit over the best player available, and they have a massive hole at center. James Wiseman is an athletic 7'1" with a long 7'5" wingspan. He brings incredible size and physical tools for the center position. He played 3 games for the Memphis Tigers before getting suspended and ultimately dropping out of college to prepare for the draft. In 3 games, he averaged 19.7 points, 10.7 boards, and 3 blocks a game on 77% shooting from the field. While these are obviously incredible stats, 3 games is an extremely small sample size, making it very difficult to give him a fair analysis of his game. Wiseman's lack of collegiate play makes him one of the biggest question marks in this draft. The scouts all seem to agree that Wiseman has great size and athleticism for the center position, but he's still pretty raw from a skills perspective. But the Warriors will still take Wiseman number 1 overall because he not only fills a huge hole at the center position, but he also has pretty good upside. With the second pick of the NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers will select Obi Toppin. This may seem like a head scratcher, but it actually makes sense if you think about it. To put it simply, the Cavaliers don't need a guard, and Toppin is the best big man in this draft after Wiseman. It was reported not too long ago that the Cavaliers rejected a meeting with Killian Hayes. According to Killian Hayes' agent, the Cavaliers told him that the chances that they select a guard in this draft is thin. This makes sense as the Cavaliers are pretty loaded with guards between Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, and Kevin Porter Jr. It looks like the Cavaliers don't want to further add to their logjam by drafting another point guard like Killian Hayes. So with the number 2 pick, the Cavaliers are going to roll with Toppin. Toppin is a 6'9" power forward out of Dayton. Before the college season ended, Toppin was leading Dayton to one of the best records in college basketball with a 29-2 record, while putting up incredible numbers. On the year, he averaged 20 points, 7.5 boards, and 2 assists a game on 63% shooting from the field. With Toppin, the Cavaliers are getting a power forward who can score from the post, pass the ball, and shoot it really well from outside. They will try to move Kevin Love to a contender so that Toppin can be a full-time starter. By drafting Obi Toppin, the Cavaliers will be really adding to their rebuild. With the number 3 pick, the Timberwolves will select Anthony Edwards. The Timberwolves already have some young players at the shooting guard position between Jarrett Culver and Malik Beasley, but Edwards' potential is just way too high for them to pass up. Anthony Edwards is a very good shot creator with potential as a passer and defender. He brings very good size and athleticism for the shooting guard position at 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan, and he has some serious bounce. A lot of scouts see an all-star if Edwards maxes out his potential. While Edwards puts up nice scoring totals, his efficiency was a huge concern. Part of that is Edwards' tendency to take tough pull-up shots instead of using his athleticism to get to the rim. Part of that is also the fact that his team was really bad. When you're the only shot creator on a bad team, it could turn you into a bit of a chucker. But I think the Wolves will ignore the red flags here and select Edwards because he could make for an incredible young core between him, Karl Anthony Towns, and D'Angelo Russell. With the 4th pick, the Hawks are going to pass on Lamelo Ball and select Avdija. The reason for this is because while Ball has high upside, the Hawks aren't going to draft the same position as their all-star Trae Young. Furthermore, a Ball and Young backcourt would be the worst defensive backcourt in the league. Instead, the Hawks are going to take a player who's a better fit, and that's Deni. Deni is a jack-of-all-trades type of prospect in that he's good at so many things, but not necessarily elite in one area. Deni is a solid ball handler. He can attack the basket. He has good playmaking skills, and he's a pretty good team defender. Deni's main weakness is his shooting. He only shoots 58% from the free throw line, which is a major red flag. On the Hawks, Deni would be an additional defender, and he'd be a secondary playmaker to relieve pressure from Trae Young. Because of the fit, the Hawks selecting Deni with the number 4 pick makes a lot of sense. With the number 5 pick, the Detroit Pistons select Lamelo Ball. Landing Ball is potentially a steal for the Pistons at number 5, as Ball is considered by many scouts as the most talented player in the draft. The Pistons currently have the toughest rebuild in the NBA. This is a really horrible team without much young talent on the roster. Their best young talent, Christian Wood, is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season and can go wherever he wants. The Pistons need to just draft the best player available wherever they pick, and at number 5, this will be Lamelo Ball. Ball brings incredible positional size for the point guard position at 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan. He's a really good ball handler, and he's an exceptional playmaker. The foot injury that caused Ball to miss the rest of the season possibly robbed fans of seeing Ball truly take off, as in the last 4 games before he got hurt, Ball averaged 24 points to 8 assists a game. For the Pistons, they get themselves a potential superstar to build around going forward. With the number 6 pick, the New York Knicks select Killian Hayes. This would be an excellent selection for the Knicks at number 6 here. The Knicks aren't as hopeless as many fans would think. Yes, the Knicks are a very awful franchise, but they have 2 really good young prospects between RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson. In a draft like this that doesn't have much can't-miss talents, the Knicks need to go for a player that will fit their team well, and Hayes is a perfect fit. Hayes is another international prospect who played for Germany. Similar to Ball, Hayes brings really good size for the point guard position at 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan. After Ball, Hayes is the best playmaker in this draft. He sees the court extremely well and finds his open teammates fast. He's also a really good ball handler. He can create his shot well, and he's a good finisher at the rim. Because of his size and abilities, many have called him the next D'Angelo Russell. Hayes potentially gives the Knicks the long-term point guard that they haven't had in years. With the number 7 pick, the Bulls will select Isaac Okoro. This is the 3rd straight year of the Bulls picking with the 7th pick. Unfortunately, the Bulls have been stuck in mediocrity the past few years. Not bad enough to get a high pick, but not good enough to compete for the playoffs. Isaac Okoro might be able to help the Bulls break this cycle. He's a super athletic 6'6" wing who's arguably the best two-way player in the draft. Okoro is a great defender both on and off the ball thanks to his high motor and his size and athleticism. On offense, Okoro is really good at slashing and scoring at the rim. He needs to get better at shooting as he only shot 28% from 3 for Auburn. But if Okoro becomes a good shooter, it's easy to see him as a star at the next level. The Bulls will be hoping that Okoro will be their next version of Jimmy Butler. With the 8th pick, the Hornets select Onyeka Okongwu. The Hornets won't be looking for a guard as they are already set at that position between Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier. They could really use a good big man. Bismack Biyombo's contract expires this year, and Cody Zeller expires next year. Okongwu is really good defensively as he's the rare center that can not only protect the rim, but also switch on to perimeter players. On offense, he's really good at scoring out of the pick and roll. He's good operating in the post, but he really needs to improve his passing ability. Overall, the Hornets are getting themselves a center who's good on both ends of the floor. This is a very good selection for them. With the 9th pick, the Washington Wizards will select Tyrese Haliburton. I know the Wizards have John Wall, but let's keep it real. He turns 30 before next season and he's coming off a torn Achilles. The Wizards will not pass on a player who could potentially be their point guard of the future. The Wizards are trying their best to keep Bradley Beal happy, so getting a player who's a nice fit next to him would be a good move. Haliburton is probably the best defensive point guard in this draft. He's 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan, and he can defend multiple positions. With his versatility, the Wizards could play all of Wall, Beal, and Haliburton together in the same lineup. On offense, Haliburton is really good at knocking down the open three-pointer, and he's a solid playmaker which can relieve pressure off of Bradley Beal. At number 9, Tyrese Haliburton is really good value for the Washington Wizards. With the 10th pick, the Phoenix Suns will select Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony's year at North Carolina definitely caused his draft stock to take a hit. He was a projected top 5 pick before the season started, and now he's projected by many to go in the back of the lottery. On the season, he averaged almost 19 points, 6 boards, and 4 assists a game, which is good, but he did it on 38% shooting. The horrific shooting percentage will scare many people, but it's important to remember he played for a really bad North Carolina team that provided him very little space. Cole brings pretty good shot creation abilities, he's a good on-ball defender, and he's a pretty good rebounding guard. At number 10, I think the Suns will go with Cole Anthony here. With the 11th pick, the Spurs select Devin Vassel. Devin is the elite 3-and-D player that the Spurs need. The Spurs roster has an awkward mix of win-now veterans and young players. I think the Spurs need to get rid of DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge and rebuild around Derek White and DeJounte Murray. This team desperately needs guys that can both shoot and defend. Brian Forbes and Marco Bellinelli are both excellent outside shooters, but they're both really bad on defense. Devin gives the Spurs a 6'7" wing player who can both shoot the ball extremely well and play lockdown defense. Devin doesn't have a high upside, but he's one of the safest picks in this draft, as he'll likely be a very good role player for years to come. With the 12th pick, the Kings are going to select Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith is a small forward who put up incredible numbers for Vanderbilt before an injury cut his season short. In 14 games, he put up 23 points and 5 boards a game on an unreal 51% from the field and 52% from 3. With Nesmith, the Kings are getting easily the best shooter in the draft. Nesmith can not only hit spot-up threes, but he moves really well without the ball to get open looks. At 6'6" with a nice 6'10" wingspan, Nesmith is also a plus on defensive end. He isn't a great defender, but he has nice 3-and-D potential. With Nesmith, the Kings are getting a young player who could be an excellent fit alongside De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley. With the 13th pick, the Pelicans select Tyrese Maxey. The Pelicans easily have one of the best young cores in the NBA between Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Zion Williamson. They also have some other good young players on the roster in Josh Hart and Jackson Hayes. Tyrese Maxey could create a great backcourt alongside Lonzo Ball. Maxey may be undersized at just 6'3", but he plays a lot bigger than his size. He's an excellent defender that can guard both the point guard and the shooting guard position. He's a pretty good slasher, and he's a very good shot creator. He just needs to work on his outside shooting, as he shot only about 29% from 3 last year. Maxey at number 13 could be a great addition to what is already an excellent Pelicans young core. And lastly, with the 14th pick, the Blazers are going to select Saddiq Bey. The Blazers have had one of the biggest fall-offs in the league this year. Last season, they were in the conference finals, and this year, they're not even a lock to make the playoffs. The Blazers will be looking for someone who could help them get back into the playoff picture next season. The Blazers' main issues are on defense, not on offense. Between Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Carmelo Anthony, the Blazers have a top 10 offense, but none of those guys are plus defenders. Part of the reason the Blazers fell off this year was because they let really good wing defenders in Mo Harkless and Al-Farouq Aminu walk. Saddiq Bey gives the Blazers one of the best 3-and-D players in this draft. A nice low-usage 3-and-D player who could do all the dirty work and guard the other team's best perimeter defender while knocking down open three-pointers. This is a pretty good pickup for the Blazers. And that concludes our video. I'd like to thank everyone who stuck around to the end. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.